let's get into this. We'll start off. So this is for July 25th. Um, the trend kind of continues here with pop and fails, BBLG, Derma. News somewhat off the open. It still failed and then went sideways. But you still get that morning pop and fail. So shorts are in control on these gappers off open. Stuff like SPY and the Qs dragged everything down with it. Tesla, Nvidia, all of them. GE, unfortunately, I still had some of that swing left. Did not sell enough, and if this thing can't support this 10 to 20 EMA and starts to make new lows, I'll have to take this one off for a loss. It was a nice winner up here in the mid 170s, and to give it all back and then some is a bit unfortunate, but I think the setup was working. It was just kind of the overall markets that came in quite a bit today that I think made that fail, and I did not recognize that off the open soon enough, so I gave a bunch of that back. Let's see here. Serve, Mira, and CMAX I'm putting in the same basket. They were recent runners that kind of started this kind of chasers market when everybody's chasing everything pre-market, but these ones haven't popped and completely failed. But given the not so clean backside action, where they're not steady faders or clean backside bounces, I'm going to put this into a multi-day breakout category to see if they want to start to shape up down the road. So they won't be like immediate plans on these. If this one obviously breaks below the 220s, nice failed fall through momentum setup, kind of like a baggy breakdown, I call it. Had an attempted liquidity trap. I had mentioned I was looking for it yesterday, but it was straight up off the open, no risk level really to use, and right up into prior resistance at $3. And then chopping sideways. So if this thing breaks and holds below 220s, I could see joining a trend lower there. Stuff like CMAX and Serve, I'm just going to set price alerts for higher and see if they want to build. Siri, this daily volume kind of churning down here. We got this little lower high break, but given that it was straight up from the 3s to the 4s, kind of like I had said on NOS when we had this, and it just kind of went straight up into this breakout level. Be something like Siri, where if this were to break out tomorrow, I'd more expect it to fail. But if this thing were to consolidate sideways, maybe over the 380s but under the 14s, sideways for one more day and maybe break out on Friday, I'd be a lot more interested in that. But a nice history of multi-day runs, so I'll keep an eye there. SLNH, little ABCD building here. So far light volume. I set price alerts here over 7. Not an immediate plan, but if 7 breaks, join that trend. And an SLRX I'm going to keep an eye on for tomorrow. It had this day 1, faded 2 days, and then a huge squeeze, backside bounce. So now this one going from like 150 to 7 meets that multi 100% threshold. The volume here, 1.5 million, a bit on the lower end. I like this sideways action. See if it breaks over 250s and a potential run back into the 4s. So I'll see if this one wants to have a backside bounce in it. But if this thing opens up with just no volume and still kind of in this range, if it doesn't break out of this $2 to $2.50 range, then I'm not going to try and guess which way it's going to go. I think that's about it. I see a lot of blow ups and steady losses and stuff in some chat rooms, Twitter and stuff, where things aren't working. And it seems like when things are working, you're kind of happy about it, but it's like you just kind of keep things steady and don't really push. And then when things aren't working, then you try to battle to make it back, and things just get worse, which is like the opposite. When things are working, you want to push. Things aren't working, take a step back. And I just see a lot of people kind of doubling down when things aren't working. These low float, crazy range might not be where your edge is, where you thrive. and that's nothing to be upset about. Just recognize it, and I know a lot of people keeping eyes on all of these large caps and stuff. Some mentions of like gap down potential reversal, which isn't really for me for these big picture. I just kind of watch them and try to learn from them. But in my eyes, this has now broken like a multi-month base. So I'd more expect pops like back into these ranges to start to act heavy. But a negative 3% day in the Qs and a negative 2% day in the SPY is it's not nothing. So I think it's worth it to be cautious on those larger cap names and not do what I did and let GE come all the way back on you on the rest of your shares. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on those couple small caps I mentioned and stay cautious on these large caps and not look to battle when some things aren't working. Alrighty, guys, trade them well. See you in the room.